Hello to the Wednesday night poetry community, and good evening and thank you to Kai Coggin for maintaining this forum. I'm going to do an encore of a piece I did about a year ago. Its title is Farsighted. Hello, grandfather, said a voice. Hello, grandfather, are you here today? Said the voice of a little girl, a small, slender creature, 6 years of age, with dark eyes gazing into his, hopefully, pensively, gazing outward, beneath dark waves of silken hair. Are you with us today? She asked of the aged, wizened face before her. Her voice fading to a whisper, she stood silently still, searching his eyes for some sign of recognition. His eyes stared back, unblinking, unfathomed, gazing past the girl and the room, through the very walls, and outward to somewhere farther, farther still. The small, patient great-granddaughter climbed into his lap and sat cross-legged, placing her head gently against the slow, gentle rise and fall of his chest. She heard the sound of his breathing and deeper rhythms of his quietly beating but still strong heart. His old dark eyes stared outward from beneath the creased and thoughtful brow. His eyes, the eyes of one who has lived long and through much, were marked with cares of age, framed at the sides with short gray hair, and crowned with a scalp of burnished leather from a lifetime spent in the sun. His eyes, unblinking, were not glazed, but focused, perhaps, on some more distant point, somewhere further away it seems than possible here in the current day. There are some distances observed, some great gulfs, that only time can create, and only memory can span. The old eyes, in distant focus, shifted somehow and came nearer, focusing, after intervals, on the present place, present day, and the small presence in his lap, head still pressed softly to his chest, with eyes now closed in gentle sleep. I am here, granddaughter, he said. I am here now. I'm back again. He stroked her long black silken hair, long smooth strokes of his aged hands, painful hands, once strong and skilful, hands with which he had made his living once, now looking like wrinkled parchment, broad, straight, long-fingered hands, now worn, now creased, now bent with swollen joints. Where was I, you may ask, young one? Where was I now, just now, today? His words were slowly, clearly said to his small, sleeping audience, leaning his head ever slightly as if for a better view of what distance had partly obscured. I was standing there in the rushing surf. Waves broke and splashed and danced about my knees, on a ribbon of beach that stretched for miles, where white coral sands met pure aqua seas, and over my head, in file upon file, the dancing coconut palm trees smiled and tossed their hair in the sun. On this white sand beach I stood, near the shore, beneath the shade of the palms that overhung the water, feeling the sand ebb between my toes, feeling the water's constant pull. In early morning, an hour past dawn, I stood there, and while above me the palms danced with the warm winds, below me the flittered light danced on the waters, making sparkles upon sparkles, from where I stood outward to the ocean's crisp horizon. And beside me, in her youth, your grandmother stood, more beautiful to me always than anything else my eyes ever saw, and with the wind bouncing in her hair, and the waves sparkling in her eyes, and the tide sweeping the sands beneath our feet, we walked along the dappled shore. I remember each time she kissed me that day, the taste of the salt on her lips, and the smell of orchids in her long dark hair, the feel of white sand on her skin. I remember these things so much more clearly than anything else that I see, or smell, or touch today, though long decades now stand in the way. I hear the waves reach, climb, and fall. I hear the wind hiss through the palms. I hear the diving seagulls call, and hear her voice, her laugh, and her sigh, again. The dark clutter of years obscures many things, but never this. Never, never this. That was Farsighted. Thank you for listening, and thank you, as always, to Kai Coggin.